Please be seated. Lights seem bright all of a sudden. Prynhawn da, a croeso I Gaerdydd. Good afternoon and welcome to Cardiff, to the Utilita Arena and our 2024 graduation ceremonies. My name's Pat Young, and I am the chair of Cardiff University's governing body, the University Council. May I offer a warm Welsh welcome to families, friends and supporters, to our alumni speaker, and of course to you, the class of 2024. Today we celebrate the extraordinary achievements of students in two of our schools, the School of Earth and Environmental Sciences and the School of Engineering. Over 35 years ago, I sat exactly where you're sitting, preparing to graduate from Cardiff University in Earth Sciences. So it's a real privilege for me to be here today to celebrate this momentous occasion with you. Acquiring a university education is no mean feat, so I commend you not only for securing a place at Cardiff University in the first place, but also for the dedication and commitment that you have shown to get you here today. As well as a degree, you have also grown in myriad ways, and you have left your mark on us. Students in the field of Earth and Environmental Sciences have benefited from field trips and practical experience and seen the impact of its research firsthand. For example, your lecturers discovered Earth's earliest fossil forest in Somerset, and have also shown how ancient landslides can help us understand tsunamis. Many of you experienced success too, including Ben Wilmot, who was awarded Student Mentor of the Year for your college. To our graduating engineers, I know that you will have benefited from being part of a vibrant school that is both research active but also excels in teaching. For example, just last month, one of our civil engineering graduates here was voted the winner of the Hanneman Prize in the Engineering Professors Council Congress of 2024, beating worldwide competition. And 2 months before that, our mechanical, integrated and medical engineers were showcasing inventions such as a team of autonomous robots that can climb trees, go underwater to inspect ship hulls, and travel underground in pipelines to detect leaks. These are just some of the examples of what amazing earth scientists and engineers you already are, and you leave us knowing your education has set you up for a wide range of careers. Your lecturers want to tell you what a privilege it has been to follow your growth as you developed your knowledge and skills from day one, and we all stand waiting to hear of your achievements as you go on to your future challenges. Now, I will share a secret with you. It's absolutely okay if you don't know exactly what you want to do next. I graduated in mining geology and spent the next 30 years working in television. Your Cardiff qualification tells the world that you're ambitious, passionate, and have a brilliant mind, wherever you decide to apply it. Embark on the next stage of your journey with all of the confidence that that brings. So this is your day. For some of you, today may be tinged with sadness as you say goodbye to Cardiff, this vibrant, colourful, diverse, and wonderful city that has been the backdrop to your journey through university. Of course, the charm and character of Cardiff is difficult to give up, and some of you may have already decided to stay and call Cardiff home for the foreseeable future, whether this is through work or further study. Either way, as you cross this stage in a short while and step foot outside the front door of this arena, you'll be doing so as a Cardiff graduate and a member of our alumni community. Cardiff University will always be your university, so wherever life takes you, We hope that you'll become a flag bearer for this great institution and carry forward our values of kindness and generosity of spirit. All that we ask is that you stay in touch, you come and visit us often, and share your experience of Cardiff University with the wider world. For now, all I ask is that you sit back, enjoy the ceremony, and savour the moment. It's another special memory to add to the collection from your time with us, and your graduation will be something you can fondly look back on in years to come. I now have the pleasure of introducing Hannah Pearce. Hannah will read the proclamation and a poem by Wales's inaugural national poet, Gwyneth Lewis. Many of you will have encountered Gwyneth's work before in the form of 6-foot-high words, thought to be the largest poem in the world, inscribed into the front of the Wales Millennium Centre. Gwyneth has been a writer-in-residence at Cardiff University School of Physics and Astronomy and is now an honorary fellow. The poem, Education, was specially commissioned by Cardiff University. Diolch.
Education by Gwyneth Lewis. Beiddia feiddio, gwellhad y wneud. Myna geisio, parcha ddweud. Trawsnewidiad fydd dy glod. Dy ddyfodol, mentro bod. Learning's a passport that returns you home a better person. It permits you to dare being daring, makes you secure with not knowing everything, helps you welcome some failure, forges an alloy with others' thinking. It is simple delight in mind and its motions, scintillates but isn't deceptive, admits the joy of institutes, is the open road to everywhere but bigotry. It's the shortest distance between you and me, and if you're lucky, it never ends. I will now read the proclamation, first in Welsh and then in English. Nerth gwlad I gwybodau. Boed hysbys I holl aelodau'r Brifysgol ac ar hyd a lled y byd fod cynulliad o Brifysgol Caerdydd yn cael ei gynnal heddiw ym mhrif ddinas Cymru. O dan awdurdod Siarter Frenhinol y Brifysgol, mae'r cynulliad hwn yn cyfarfod I dderbyn y myfyrwyr, sydd yn rhinwedd I hastudiaethau a'i hysgol heictod, wedi'i harholi'n briodol yn unol â statudau'r Brifysgol ac wedi'i cael yn deilwng o'i graddau. Wrth ddathlu llwyddiant y rhai sy'n graddio yn y cynulliad hwn, fe hatgoffon o'i cyfrifoldeb I gyfrannu o werthoedd y brifysgol hon. Nod iddynt hwy yw ceisio drwy eu cyflawniadau wasanaethu lles pawb, ymdrechu I sicrhau rhagoriaeth ym mhob peth ac yn boeni am ddyfodol ein byd. Grandewch yn awchus ar ddoethineb, gan ei fod yn cynnig gobaith a gwirionedd ym mhob cenhedlaeth. Nerth gwlad I gwybodau, a nation's strength is in its learning. Let it be known to all members of the university and throughout the world that today, in the capital city of Wales, a congregation of Cardiff University is taking place. Under the authority of the university's Royal Charter, this congregation meets to receive those students who, by virtue of their studies and scholarship, have been appropriately examined according to the statutes of the university and found worthy of their degrees. We celebrate the success of those who graduate in this congregation and in doing so remind them of their responsibility to share in the values of this university. It is for them to seek through their achievements to serve the common good, to strive for excellence on all things and care for the future of our world. Be attentive to wisdom, for it offers hope and truth in every generation.
Pranhan Dalpab, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Angie Flores Acuna, and I had the privilege to be like your Student Union President last year. Cardiff, it is a privilege to address you today, a day which you will all remember fondly for the rest of your lives. For many of you, today marks the end of an era and the beginning of the next chapter of your lives. At the beginning of this journey, many of you would have been faced with the exciting but daunting prospect of moving away from home, whether that be from Pontypridd, Portsmouth, or Peru, making new friends, and perhaps living independently for the first time. None of these are easy feats, so for that, I congratulate you. During your time at Cardiff, you may have had to overcome some challenges. You may have been the first in your family to come to university or to this country. You may be a carer or have dependents and have had to balance that with the university life. Or maybe you've battled with something else entirely. You should all feel very proud of what you have achieved, both personally and academically. The experiences you have shared together in the seminar room, a society, or a sports club, the opportunities you have embraced, and the relationships which you have built have made you into the graduate and person that you are today. As you reflect on your time here, let's acknowledge the hard work and dedication that brought you to this moment. It's not just about the degrees that you now hold, but the friendships that you've made, the lessons that you've learned, and the growth that you've experienced. You may or may not know exactly what you're doing next, but as you step into the next chapter, carry with you the resilience you've developed and the memories you've cherished. Face the future with confidence, knowing that you're equipped to tackle whatever comes your way. May your care ever be for the good name of our university and the well-being of the world. Llyngyr Farcheidau, class of 2024. Congratulations.
Wel, prynawn da i chi gyd, good afternoon all. Fenw i'r Athro Damien Wolford-Davies, fi yw Provost a Dirprwys Ganghellor Prifysgol Caerdydd. My name is Damien Wolford-Davies. I am the Provost and Deputy Vice-Chancellor of Cardiff University. And I'm delighted that today my job, as has been the case all week, is a very simple one. It is to warmly welcome all of you to receive your awards at the appropriate time. And I know that Claire, my colleague as Pro-Vice-Chancellor, has trailed this already, but I'll say something more about that moment shortly when you will be admitted to your degrees. And Claire and I were talking about this yesterday, I think, Claire, weren't we? The moment at which your degrees, you actually get your degrees, are interestingly in the context of an examination board back in probably main building, Claire, somewhere around there. So that's the moment at which you actually technically get your awards. Claire signs it off and gives the nod. This is obviously the ceremonial part of that, and no less dramatic. I do have to mention, first of all, the issue of noise, because it's been a problem. There hasn't been enough of it. I do mean that. Just for clarity, we like noise, and we like more of it as the ceremony continues. So please do celebrate the achievements of students as they cross the stage. And as I've said throughout this week, it is quite a long runway if you're going down here alone, as all of them are, but with your support and love, of course. But because each of them is going on their own journey, please be resilient and keep up the clapping all the time. It's going to be a long session, but again, a session full of love, and put all your love into your whoop-whoops and your clapping. Agreed? Deal? You're already better than the previous 2 days. Well done. I shouldn't say, I don't mean that. So once all the students for each award have crossed the stage, and once you've returned to your seats in this area here, I will ask you to stand. And it's at that point in the ceremony that we kick in with a university tradition, which is for me to speak in Welsh, to receive, as I said earlier, each group of graduates to their awards. And the Welsh formula I will use means, through the authority conferred upon me by the university, I receive you to your award with all the privileges that this confers. Congratulations. And in Welsh, which is how I'll read it, trwy'r awdurdod a roddwyd I mi gan y Brifysgol, derbyniaf chi i'ch dyfarniad gyda'r holl freintiau a ddaw yn ei sgil, llongyfarchiadau. So just wait for that word, llongyfarchiadau. It's a great Welsh word. Congratulations. I now introduce Dr. Jennifer Pike, Head of the School of Earth and Environmental Sciences, who will begin to present undergraduate students for their awards.
So I, Dr. Jennifer Pike, introduce those who have received the degree of Bachelor of Science. Grace Allen. Daisy Georgina Alwood. Faisal Al-Saud. Seba Aisham Saud Al-Jadsali. Blossom Archer. Jasmine Isabel Atkinson. Kira Atio Cantor. Elliot Bellamy. Sean Betley. Kate Boxall. Frankie Brown. Keely Browning. Fraser Brunton. Hannah Cadle. Oscar Cannon. Chung Hae Chick. Ethan Clark. Neve Cleary. Georgie Coleman. Robert Collins. Henry John Whale Keeper. Callum Corney. Louisa Costanza. Brandon Crawford. Naomi Crouch. Jorn Hamish Crow. Emily Kerno. Matthew Joseph Curtis. Alexander Daniel. Zoe Alexis Stanton Dare. Holly Michelle Davies. Olivia Courtney Davies. Megan Mia de Cork. Lauren DeLockery. Ethan Derrick. Jessica Doubt. James Doxford Hoot. Ethan Drake. Jack Lennon Elliott. Thea F. Brave. Fraser Evans. Mathilde Flan. Libby Fronda. Phoebe Valerie Ann Butcher. Connor Lewis Garrett. Molly Green. Nathan David Green. Zaylee Gunningham. Alexandra Hamill. Joseph Jerome Harris. Thomas Hartley. Alex Hatterley Cooper. Robin Hellier High. Thomas Hewson, James David Hickman, Megan Hitchens, Kieran Hollis, Oliver James Howes, Rhys Sean Hughes, Lucy Grace Eiley, Livia Natalia Yaven, Kushi Jane, Idris Jenkins, James Peter Jenks, Jivuna Geokur Kenneth, Grace Christina Cates, Laura Kenyon, Emma Kett White, Charles Kirkman, Jessie Lewis, Claire Owen Lewis, Casper Jack Rowe Lindgren, Jude Landstone, Lily Llewellyn, Benjamin Fraser Lloyd, Anna Lucia Loffmark, Rihanna Long, Shahaz Mahmood, Benjamin Margeryson, Charles Marks, Ethan Nicholas Martin, Hannah Mason, Jacob Neville Massey, Benjamin Matthews, Lewis McGee, Dylan Mackay, Alice McCarroll, Amy McNutt, Linnea Mayer, Eva Mitchell, Krishan Moraji, Daisy Grace Morgan, Grace Morgan, Ben Morris, Jordan John Morris, Luke Morris, Oliver Murdoch, Jack David Gregory Murray, Charlie Andrew Newton, Eve Nicholas, Dylan Nokio Kuman, Leah Rachel North, William Northeast, Mabel Norton, Charles Nunn, John Edmund Charles Nunn, Angus James Henry O'Byrne, Piers O'Connor, Lottie Olney, Molly Oram, Oliver John Paddison, Lily Paradine, Mia Park, Reese Parks, Eleanor May Payne, Woody Henry Pierce, Imogen Peckett, Emma Phillips, Max Phillips, Isabel Pitt. Lydia Platt. Mavanwi Paul. Jack Porter. Ryan Pridmore. Caitlin May Quantick. Sophia June Giselle Reed. Elizabeth Roden. Emmy Richards. Eric Richards. Caitlin Shauna Ryder. Louise Hannah Roberts. Olivia Routledge. Hannah Runyard. Samson Kubarus. Oliver Joshua Rutter. Kellen Scullion. Matthew Sellens. Tom Sharman. Luke Sharon. Isabel Elizabeth Smith. Victoria Charlotte Snell. Lauren Sobey. Harry Robert Summerfield Wade. Bethan Squire. Louis Strange. Amber Stratford. Sylvie Alice Tanner. Rosie Cullen Target. Elise Taylor. Ethan Thomas. Francesca Thomas. Guillaume Thomas. Jamie Thomas. Pete Tipping. Cameron James Tringham. Ellie Tromans. Hannah Troe. Jack Lewis Vincent. Emily Lois Wakeham. Thomas Walsh. Jesse Walters. Zichen Wan. Tobias Daniel Welch. Eugene Westmacott. Jennifer Whistler. Max Whitworth. Harvey Williams. Benjamin James Wilmot. Ryan Wong. Thomas James Wood. I, Dr. Jennifer Pike, introduce those who have received the degree of Master in Science. Woo. Fiona Elizabeth Hunter. Oscar Laxton. Tegan Morgan. Finley Mullins. Alexandra Peach. Merilla Penning. Ollie Wallace.
I, Professor Alan Kwan, introduce those who have received the degree of Bachelor of Engineering. Karim Abdul Fattah. Sadid Abid. Thomas Joseph Roy Adams. Oluwaseun Abigail Adetunji. Rajan Agawal. Hamad Ahmed. Basil Al-Salo. Muhammad Sadiq Al-Gajili. Mariam Alaga. Nuha Maleha Alam. Yasin Al-Dahi. Kira Elizabeth Lyons Aldous. Khadija Abdullah Al-Fadan Al-Fadan. Ragad Al-Hamad. Mustafa Ali. Amar Yasir Sulaiman Alamki. Mara Al-Mahamre. Saad Al-Saad. Aisha Al-Salau. Badr Al-Salau. Jay Anir. Aaron Kwabina Adu Apanil Jan. Morgan Bradley Ashworth. Charlotte Jennifer Attridge. Aidan Alexander Barnes. Jamie David Barnes. Alexander John Francesco Barone. Jonas Bendorius. Emily Ivy Blandon. Hasina Booley. Luke Harris Bowler. Christopher Ryan Bogdan. Roa Bryson. Tabia Ayana Butterfield. Harry James Butterworth. Logan Omujagunla Toluwalope Cameron Cole. Jason Muhei Chung. Jessica Jasmine Clark Beatty. Noam Cohen. Robert James Connolly. Ella Kiera Cooney. Chloe Lauren Coulthard. Rebecca May Crabb. Matthew John Cross. Yad Adam Daz. Sean Jacob Davenport. Jack Thomas Davis. Selvinu Diki. Shin Shin Tung. Ranim Khalid Ismail Duldin. Matthew James Dring. Alexander John Duthie. Cameron Allen Dyer. Brian Edward. Karan Elamurugan. Maisie Rhiannon Elliott. Daniel James Elphick. William Alexander Elston. Oluwatunmise Moses Eluwanmi. Kyle Kevin Ferguson. Merv Fidan. Thomas Patrick Finn. Lauren May Forward. Timothy Funk. Tavodzewa Andrew Gazidgwa. Kavid Gaja. Felicity Gamayon. Molly Patricia Rose Gardner. Jacob Jonathan Gill. Lauren Olivia Glendua. Cleona Neve Higgins. Iris May Gray. Aki Pranao Gunawadana. Christian Joe Gunner. Edward James Hall. Lewis Hall. Oliver Thomas Hall. Kieran Hamilton. Madeline Harris. Flora Hemming. Harmony Rose Hewlett. Jamie Lee Hogan. Joseph Howell. Bo Leonard Alexander Hughes. James Thomas Hughes. Erin Humphreys. Zach Kasim Walker Humza. Mohammed Hamza Hussain. Abdi Karim Mohammed Adelahi Ismail. William Oliver Island. Brandon Lee Jones. Harry Llewellyn Jones. Joshua Daniel Caminares. Nicholas Roger Karim. Dominika Kajetsko. Finn Kemp. Zaim Khan. Gyunwoo Kim. David Ryan King. Maya Kirby. Stephen Kokaya. Harris Thomas Dimitri Kolla. Hin Young Lai. Tongi Legrand. Fergus John Large. Megan Christine Lethwaite. Chuan Shen Lian. Suvith Lim. Michael Lissick. Xiaoji Liu. Chi Kin Law. Herbie Thomas Lorimer. Harry Richard Lovell. Max Gorlow. Maximilian Clement William Luxford. Nathan Hens Lee. Daniel Emir MacDonald. Timothy David Marshall. Paulo Hahn Main. Max Charles Maywood. Cara Beth McEwen. Ruby Madeline Lily Ann McLaughlin. Sam McLewan. Joseph Patrick McMurty. Charles Alexander McNeil. Alistair Ian Moffat. Bledin Morgan. Ian Thomas Morris. Samuel James Morris. Ali Amir Mughal. Somiya Milama Kumaran. Victor Enzo Adeja. Oliver James Parker Bull. Dominic Frederick Ailes Payne. Ben William Pierce. James David Joseph Pegg. Ethan Joseph Pett. Jamie Michael Phillips. Marie-Louise Phillips. Jonathan Matthew Post. Samuel Charles Llewellyn Price. Jaimin Mehta. Lucy Heather Quinn. James Anthony Rafferty. Peter Joachim Ralph. Navodia Pravabi Ramanayaka Mudian Salaga. Luke Carl Richards. Thomas Harry Lewitt Richards. Benjamin Lathan Roberts. Emma Megan Rosser. Andrew Mark Rothwell. Oliver Rowell. Alexander John Roykoff. Aaron Matthias Saini. Gyankur Sundu. Henry Neville Schmidt. Benjamin Thomas Seeley. Mohammad Oziah Shad. David Shorinwa. Ethan Yushi Smith. Samuel Snow. Vithusana Somasundaram. Stephanie Susaipillai. Oliver Squires. James Alexander Stratford. Alexander Jeremy Stubbs. Sebastian Sunny. Adam Matthew Sylvester. Adetokunbo Adeshina Temitayo Taiwo. Peter Alexander Tangi. William James Trimnell. Albert Jakub Trzynski. Yi Lam Si. J. Goshal Twiman. Viela Wiklikfu Urasa. Alexander George Wadling. Jack Stephen Ward. Merusina Wasim. Tobias George Weymouth. Romy Louise Whitehouse. Jacques Emmanuel Vincent Willaport. Freddie Thomas Wilson. Samuel Bryn Wilton. Mason Lee Wood. Sophie Woodcock. Cameron Joseph Woodhouse. Harry Francis Worthington Hale. Faduma Ali Yassin. Jia Wei Jin. Xi Qi Zhang. I, Professor Alan Kwan, introduce those who have received the degree of Master of Engineering. Nida Shah Abbasi. Emily Jordan Andrews. Helen Catherine Aries. Salif Alam Balo. Kyle Grant Barber. Adam Gilbert Beadle. Shamil Hakimi bin Mohammed Mabro. Victoria Francisca Brown. Nadia Sabrian Twist. Jasraj Chada. Jitan. Daniel Klopotarite. Alexander Ben Colston. Jack William Constable. Joseph Michael Call. Daniel David Cross. Robin Matthew Grandwell. David Arwell Price Daniel. James Jonathan Daniels. Harry Devonald Davis. Hugo Alexander Davis. Hugh Thomas Meredith Davis. Mayumi Narido Davis. Nia Davis. Thomas Lloyd Davis. Joel Dawson. Urana Dorukaki. Mustafa Judy. Ross Eade. Patricia Denise Aclivia. Carmen Alicia Garcias. Samuel Philip Gregory. Lucy Eleanor Guiton. Zachary Luke Halliwell. Imogen Harding. Benjamin Hibbert. Tamzin Karen Hills. Gagri Edward Hind. Alexander James Howell. Frederick Jack William Hume. Lise Delicia Izera. David George Johnston. Daniel Andrew Jones. Niall Hayden Jones. Jamie Kerr. Cengiz Emre Kazna. Nicholas George Kitchen. Adam Siegfried George Collar. Alex Korkich. Cordelia Emily Leonard. Thomas Jack Alistair Lewis. Ashley David Lincolns. Omid Lotfizadeh. Antoni Makjewski. Adam Malik. Amelia Ishbel Massey. Siobhan Kate McConnell. Camille Macmillan. Amiru Abiedin Mia. Elaf Mifsud. Alec William Montadon. Emily Eleanor Mully. Kitson Ng. Isabel Jade Norris. Hisham Umelu. Rosemary Jane Palmer. Cameron Nicholas Panting. Nishma Umesh Patel. Joseph Edward Pearson. Turgid Phillips. Raul Thomas Juan Phillips. Hugh Stephen Blair Price. Thomas Owen Pugh. Ben Gareth Rees. Devan Richards. Sebastian Rodriguez. Jamie Grant Rogers. Ibrahim Satkaya. Niall Snow. Alfie Patrick Sol Sparrow. Phoebe Elizabeth Spencer. Mia Tallulah Stace Gill. Caitlin Elizabeth Alexis Stiggs. Craig Stouffer. Jaya Taman. Edward Jack Taylor. Ross George Taylor. Charlotte Lauren Temple. Griff Thomas. William James Thomas. Rachel Mary Tidy. Charlie Tumman. Jack Kieran Tyler Chamberlain. Maggie Warren. Fahim Wignow. Louis George Williams. Jack Sutherland Wright. Christopher Mark Yeomans. Emily Charlotte Yap. I go. The Deputy Vice-Chancellor will now confer the award.
The people on the stage and I have been doing this for quite a few years. That is the best clapping, and I'm not joking, I have ever heard. Am I right? And you supported each and every one, regardless of who they were, whether you knew them, as they crossed the stage. So diolch yn fawr iawn. That was superb. A wnaeth y myfyrwyr hynny sy'n newid groesi'r llwyfan sefyll, os gwelwch yn dda. Will those who have just crossed the stage please stand? Trwy'r awdurdod a roddwyd I mi gan y Brifysgol, derbyniaf chi i'ch dyfarniad a'r holl freintiau a ddaw yn ei sgil. Llongyfarchiadau, congratulations. Diolch yn fawr iawn. Steddwch os gwelwch yn dda, please sit.
I, Professor Gavin Shaddock, introduce those who have received the degree of Master of Science. Abdel Rahman Al-Quad. Loloa Azemari. Bailey Alderson. Mohammed Nazir Alwi. Hajar Ghazi Alufi. Junius M. Amula Yella. Rahul Bangalore Sri Kantaselawara. Aisha Bashir Abdulali. Isabel Brooks. Benjamin Chang Chung Man. Rakshan Chinabovi. Taib Ahmed Chowdhury. Jess Cole. Rhys Howard Arthur Davis. Zoe Devane. Alexeshwar Singh. Griffiths Leston Evans. Ocean Gabriel. Gutha Malo Ganesh. Anad Ganjani. Evie Jane Garner. Hannah Elizabeth Goddard. Maxwell James Goodwin. Subrashi Gopasha Krishnan. Simran Goswami. Jacob Govia. Paul Andrew Graham. Emily Greet. Megan Jane Hall. Thomas Delmere Heath. James David Ireland. Pakla Jarangal. Rhys Jones. Anaka Kavadil Joy. Manjul Kalamani. Pradeep Reddy KH. Jatin Khatri. Jaya Kong. AJ Kumar. Sai Shethwa Kurela. Amisha Kurian. Libna Luteith. Maximilian Lawrenson. Rachel Alice Leach. Juliet Livet. Darren Lo Dishwan. Sudkara Manda. Lulu Mattison. Eleanor Astra McGlinchey. Sharon Mungilan. Brian Mulwara. Arvind Balachandran Nair. Sudha Sindaraja Nalyani. Sarah Nicholson. Ben Nursey. Erin O'Brien. Tuba Leafaya Daniela Muti. Hannah Okopoko. Prabhu Flapila James. Sneha Pradhan. Molly Quarterly. Pranav Rahesh Shivepa. Risheshkesh Ramesh. Jacob Rowe. George Edward Richards. Eloise Robertson. Akasha Saini. Alok Sarawat. Chrysanthi Skiza. Hamza Shahid. Dominic Shaw. Amir Hossein Seema Agazomi. Anaya Singh. Animish Shinghal. Andre Mark Sukhorovkov. Weihang Sung. Carwyn Michael Sweeney. Ramya Rangappa. Benjamin Taylor. Hayden Matthew Thomas. Samantha Louise Tulloch. Nahid Sultana Obtama. Isabel Elizabeth K. Utley. Shaibi Becky. Naveen Vidyarana. Gopika Vinodumkar. Emily Waring. Sylvia Vanessa Wilson. Zhen Yu. Xiaokoku Yu. The Deputy Vice-Chancellor will now confer the award.
A wnaeth pob myfyriwr sy'n newydd groesi'r llwyfan sefyll os gwelwch yn dda. Would all the students who have just crossed the stage please stand? Trwy'r awdurdod a roddwyd i mi gan y Brifysgol, derbyniaf chi i'ch dyfarniad a'r holl freintiau a ddaw yn ei sgil. Llongyfarchiadau, congratulations. Diolch yn fawr iawn.
The following students to be presented have achieved a doctoral degree, and in recognition of their achievements and research, they will be presented to the presiding officers who will doff in return. I, Professor Gavin Shaddock, introduce those who have received the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dr. Elmazeg Salel Mazeg Suleiman Eglami. Dr. Bedurin Abdul Saham. Dr. Othman Abdul Salam. Dr. Roslan John Adams. Dr. Joseph Alemzadeh. Dr. Othman Al-Shati. Dr. Eshan Merabi Azad. Dr. Polly Esme Blakey. Dr. William Britton. Dr. Oliver Robert Campbell. Dr. Bernadette Clark. Dr. Dominic Datoro Snell. Dr. Che Anthony Davis Smith. Dr. Marina Devekis. Dr. Pantestela Dimitru. Dr. Martin Chinwedku Eze. Dr. Benjamin Fisher. Dr. Aona Foster. Dr. David Furnus. Dr. Ali Suleiman Ali Garada. Dr. Monir Habil. Dr. Nicholas Hanosek. Dr. Alasmir Mohammed Ibrahim Saleh. Dr. Shiva Kalhor. Dr. Said Kalaf. Dr. Marwan Mahedi. Dr. Kimberly Ann Marshall Mills. Dr. Ben Mason. Dr. Jasmine Miller. Dr. Francisco Munguali Galeno. Dr. Ellie Pryor. Dr. Ianos Posmoglu. Dr. Bikash Ranabat. Dr. Evan John Ricketts. Dr. Edith Rojo Zazuta. Dr. Reese Savage. Dr. Prospera Sonu Sibanda. Dr. Yiabong Uduaka. Dr. Oscar Prima Utomo. Dr. Sintong Yung. Dr. Emmanuel Sarat. Dr. Xiaofeng Zhu. The Deputy Vice-Chancellor will now confer the award.
A wnaeth y myfyrwyr hynny sydd newydd groesi'r llwyfan sefyll os gwelwch yn dda. Would all the students who have just crossed the stage please stand? Trwy'r awdurdod a roddwyd I mi gan y Brifysgol, derbyniaf chi i'ch dyfarniad a'r holl freintiau a ddaw yn ei sgil. Llongyfarchiadau, congratulations.
It is my, I think you can sit, is that all right? It is my pleasure to introduce to you today's alumni speaker. Stefan Powell is a graduate of Cardiff University's School of Law and Politics and also the School of Journalism, Media and Culture. After graduating, he joined the BBC and quickly became a recognised voice as the presenter of BBC Radio 1 Newsbeat. During his 8 years as a presenter and senior reporter, he travelled across the world presenting Newsbeat from places like Tokyo, Los Angeles and Seoul. He was appointed the BBC's first ever gaming and culture correspondent in 2021 and is creator and presenter of the BBC Sounds podcast, Press X to Continue. In this role, Stefan has interviewed celebrities like Keanu Reeves and Usain Bolt about their love of gaming. Stefan is currently the host of Doctor Who Unleashed, the BBC's behind-the-scenes programme for this much-loved sci-fi series. Here he interacts with Hollywood A-listers and young contributors all in the same space. We're so very pleased to welcome Stefan here today to share some congratulatory words with you all. Please welcome Stefan Powell. Diolch yn fawr.
Helo, siamai, diolch yn fawr iawn I ti, Claire, am y croeso mawr ac am y cyflwyniad. Mae fe mor braf I fod nôl gyda chi gyd yma heddi, bo fi nawr yn teimlo'n hen iawn. Thank you very much, Claire, for your kind introduction. And also a bit of a reminder of the stuff that has happened to me since I was sat there, like you are today. You in, frankly, devilishly well-appointed gowns. Myself, on the other hand, was in a slightly ill-fitting one, with also a newly reconstructed anterior cruciate ligament to boot, thanks to the Cardiff University Cobras for that one. And all this meant that this is me, hobbling across the stage on crutches, just like Emily and Pete did earlier on, but they did it with much more grace. Also, how old is that footage? It was only 20 years ago. It feels like it was 100 years old, that footage. But beyond the embarrassment, I think, of being hobbled unexpectedly on the big day, I'm pretty sure that a lot of you out there are feeling like I did then. I was a heady mix of excited, uncertain, also nervous, perhaps, about what the future holds. Now, some of you will have what's next mapped out. Many of you will not. And some will just be thinking about 2-for-1 cocktails and a Dorothy's on Chippy Lane later on. Thank you. Yes. Yes to Dorothy's. Although I think Tony's is nicer, but that's beside the point. And I'm here to tell you today that all of those states of mind are okay. Now, I've spent much of the past 6 weeks, I present the Welsh language version of Question Time. And so I've spent much of the past 6 weeks on the road, knocking around Wales, talking politics. It's been a pretty intense period, but it has given me a chance on various trains and other forms of transport around Wales to think about the bits of advice that I would have liked to have been given when I was sat there like you are, clutching onto my crutches and my dreams for the future. So if you don't mind the self-indulgence, I'd just like to share some of those thoughts with you today. So, firstly, limping across the stage as I was didn't feel like the best omen for a successful career. But actually, I think looking back, it's worked as quite a nice metaphor, I think, for how you go about building a career. It's one small step at a time. Sometimes it's uncertain, sometimes it's slower than planned. Other times you feel like you're going to fall over at any second. But one after the other, you get from one side of the stage to the other. It just happens differently to everybody else. And I think that's true of a career. My first job was as a researcher in West Wales, and that led to a job at BBC Wales, which got me to present my first ever radio show, which led me to Radio 1, which led me to the 10 o'clock news, which led me to live television, and then Saturday night television. You get the drift. It's just one thing after the next. Focus on the next step. Try to enjoy the here and the now, and make the journey as fun as you can. Because it's easy to get lost in the distant worry about the future. It's easy to get lost in the other stuff. Your big ambitions, your goals, your dreams of success, whatever those dreams might be and whatever success might look like for you, however you choose to judge it, it's going to come in time. It can't come all at once. And so my second point sort of follows on from this. And I really don't want to sound like an old granddad stood up on this stage, although I do worry that might happen in the next couple of minutes, so apologies in advance. Look, I scroll Insta and TikTok as much as the next man. I'm going to be putting a story of me in the gown on my stories later. That is 100% happening, right? But my point, I suppose, is to try and be kind to yourselves. Because your generation is under far more scrutiny, far more pressure than mine ever was. And that is all because of social media. As brilliant as it can be, a famous poem tells us that there will always be greater and lesser persons than yourself. That comparison can make you vain and bitter. And that's certainly true in my profession. And it's hard, though, not to compare yourself when you see it all the time on social media. But this is all about running your own race. It's about enjoying your journey and your achievements for what they mean to you, not to anybody else. And I wish I knew that then. Because there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs in life and in your career, but I bet you £1 million, not quite £1 million because I don't have it, but if I had £1 million, I would bet you that £1 million that you're only going to see the ups on social. And so lastly, I'd just like to leave you with this message. Take the pressure off yourselves a bit. You might not realize it, but you have already learned a valuable skill, a piece of knowledge, some information, a thing that is going to help you in a time of need. Sometime in your future, that thing is going to come and help you. You've probably learned loads of them. Whether it's a particular formula or a love of triangles. Whether that's going to hopefully get you out of a problem in work. Whether it's how to start a conversation with someone from a different background, whether they're a different religion or race or come from a different country than you. Maybe it's how to learn complicated facts really, really quickly, because you might have got a test in a couple of days that you've forgotten about, possibly. Or it could just be, how do you make the best spag bol to impress that person you've invited over for dinner? Education is life, and life is education. And what you've already done is you've given yourselves the best start to go and do whatever it is you want to in life and in your careers. So I know some of you have been thinking, why is a presenter and a journalist who wouldn't know one side of an ammonite from the other? That's a fossil, that is. I learnt that this morning for all you science, history people out there, sorry. Well, look, I hope my experiences as a once nervous 21-year-old clutching on to his crutches, I hope my experiences will show you that it will turn out all right in the end. Diolch yn fawr a pob lwc I chi gyd. Hwyl fawr.
Thank you, Stefan. Diolch. Some wise words from Stefan there, who did point out that the year I graduated was the year that he was born. But we are all part of the Cardiff University alumni family, as are all of you now. It's a massive group. We are great global citizens. Some of us are activists and have high profiles. Others are quiet, solid contributors to their communities. Cardiff University and life in Cardiff has given you more than just a degree. You've been encouraged to ask questions and challenge conventional wisdom. You've shown a willingness, determination and spirit which are the real hallmarks of a Cardiff University graduate. The word hiraeth, the Welsh word hiraeth, is made for moments like this. It conveys a sense of place, of love, of longing and belonging, of memory. And we hope that you'll keep hiraeth in your hearts for Cardiff University. Now, before we close the ceremony, there is one last important Cardiff University tradition we absolutely need to uphold. Now, whilst today has all been about your achievement, I think you are all wise enough to know that it is not something that you've achieved on your own, because you've been able to achieve it because you've been supported by friends and families and lecturers throughout your degrees. And for the last 90 minutes, they have been putting in the applause for all of you. So I'd now like our graduates to stand. And I want to emphasize upon you, this is for the graduates to say thank you to their friends, families and supporters. Those who are here, those who can't be here but are watching on YouTube. And it is a tradition, and we do it well and we do it properly. We like noise. So on the count of 3, let's hear it for our supporters. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I've done a few of these now, and I told you that this was a serious business. It's an important tradition. You heard the provost say that their applause for you was the best he's heard all week. And I can tell you, we had some arts graduates in while I've been here, and they were far, far better than what you just turned in. So I'm going to give you a chance to redeem yourself. Can we please hear it for your family, friends, and supporters? Let's hear it. Okay. I knew you had it in you. You can take your seats. On behalf of all of us as well, thank you for the support that you've given them and the university over this period while they've been studying. Now, to close our celebrations, there'll be a film welcoming you to the Cardiff University alumni family, which I hope you enjoy. At the end of the film, we'd like everybody to stand and join in as the platform party leaves the stage and processes out of the hall. I ask you to stand. You can also sway. You can even join in. But that's it from me. Diolch yn fawr iawn. Thank you very much.
Take a look around you. Be welwch chi? What do you see? Class of 2024. Today we take stock of everything we've achieved and say thank you to those who always believed. So scroll through memories, cymryd selfies gyda'r besties, and stand up straight for the photographer. Say cheers. Today we remember how we got this far. The late nights and bright lights, and moments we didn't do as well as we might. Pob dyddiad cau, dyfal barhau, o weithio'n galed i'r dathliadau. Today we're rewarded for all the hard work that started way back with the first steps we took. Dropped at Talabont, Nghennydd, Aberdare and Aberconwy I ganol y freshers, heb wybod lle I fynd, heb nabod bob un, nes canfod ffrindiau oes yn neidiau hoff cytun. First dates.
Soulmates.
I'm gonna start crying at this rate. Today we're part of something that's hard to describe. The new class of an old tribe. A tradition that'll be there our whole lives. A network that continues to help us thrive. Years from now, we'll see someone with a badge on their tie or hear people on a bus shouting,
"Cheese drive."
And we'll remember where we came from, where we came into our own, where we made our mark. Canfod Cartref, where we found a home. Today we make noise like it's the varsity game and count ourselves lucky we found people with the same interests, hobbies, byd o hwmor nes bod ni'n ffoli. People who tried to shelter us with broken brollies. People who helped us find our limits and push them out of the way. People who helped us get to this point.
On this day.
Today is a day we mark everything we've shared. A day we tell people just how much we cared, that they were always there, even when they couldn't be. Roedden ni'n gwybod y deiau eto hael efryn for all the long hours we've had to put in. We still had those nights that went right through till dawn, and days we dug deeper than ever before. So here's to those late night revisers and early risers, to sunny days that passed by in Butte Park, to that special someone who gave us that special spark and helped us to grow, to transform, to dream. Today's for that someone we're proud to have at our team. What happens tomorrow is whatever you choose. Go make news or break news, but absolutely refuse to be told that can't be done, because we've only just begun to make records and break records and make history and break history and say,
Fy ma, fy mi, fi. This is the world I want to see.
10,
20,
30
40.
years from now, you'll look back on today and realise you've been by your side the whole way. But right now, right here, let's savour the moment and say, Llongyfarchiadau, congratulations. Let's get the celebrations underway. Take a moment, look around you. Be welwch chi? What do you see? We're Cardiff University. Croeso, welcome to your alumni community.